Hello, my tubies, my Teletubbies, Sheila True Love. Yes, I'm here with a new friend. Don't he have great eyes? Look at the eyes. Yes, we're gonna call him. I don't know a name for him yet. My son gave me this cute little doll. Yeah. Anyway, today we're gonna be talking about boundaries, and we're gonna be talking about. Yeah, we're here. Let's listen in.
There are some things that I've done in the past. My alcohol abuse has kind of come in between us, but she also has an alcohol issue as well. If you're gonna hold me to a standard, you can't be a hypocrite.
I want the judge to tell Jamar that he's gonna lose something really special if he can't just get it together.
I want the judge to tell.
Yeah, I understand where he's going with that. You know, she says that he has an alcohol problem, but if she wants him to quit alcohol, she also seems to have an alcohol problem, which maybe she don't, but that's not the point. And I can identify with that because I remember my ex narc. He had a substance abuse problem, and I used to drink. So to show him that you don't need mind altering substances to get through life, I quit drinking for almost 8 years. It was like 7 months, 7 years and 10 months. It was almost 8 years, that I had stopped drinking, and he had stopped using whatever the hell, and he was clean for 8 years. Yeah, 8 years. He was clean when he was with me. I went back to drinking after he had left, and after I saw how the elders and the ministerial servants and my brother, these are all people who were baptized in the congregation, elders and whatever. Every time I look up, they was throwing it back, throwing it back. We couldn't have a party in my house or a gathering in my house that didn't involve alcohol. So I went back to drinking because the Bible did say you can drink. A little wine, it says, helps make the heart rejoice. So there's nothing wrong with drinking. The problem comes with drunkardness. So when you see that you are getting out of hand with it, or if something is getting the best of you, then it's time to let it go. So I had to let it go. Right now, and I'm like, yo, if it's something that's going to bring Sheila True Love down, Sheila True Love need to back up from that, really. So, but what he's saying is, don't be a hypocrite. Don't sit up here and tell me to stop drinking when you're a bigger lush than me. And even if she's not, if she wants him to stop drinking, then she should just stop drinking to show him that it can be done. Just like I showed my ex-narc. It can be done. We don't need this. Pulled it off for 8 years. I also showed him another situation that we was in. I showed him how you could do this right here, kid, and the next day, let it go, brother. Let it go. But you have to be a soldier for certain things like this.
That you are unable. You do have a problem as well.
Jamar, I want you to stop the drinking. I just want you to be the man that I thought you were.
Yeah. So she wants him to stop drinking. It's loading right now, so just be patient. She wants him to stop drinking and be the man that she thought he was, but when they was dating, she saw that he tend to overdrink. To a point where you are getting DUIs, and when you are failing to show up at places that you're supposed to be at, that's a problem. Now, when it came to alcohol with me, I have never been a person who drank every day like that. No. I used to drink sporadic. I used to drink, look, a month, I would say Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday for a month. And then I would go on a hiatus for 3 months or sometime 4 months. And then I'll go back a month of just Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday. That's how I've always been like that. Even in my younger years, I've gone on hiatuses. But this is a character who, I don't know, he seems to not be able to let it go. See, I know that I was not a alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not. I never have been. A problem drinker at times, yeah, that's definite. But I'm the type of person, when I see something getting ready to ruin me or destroy me, yeah, I gotta back up from that. You see, that's called love, self-love. Anyway, hold on. We're starting again, guys.
Jamar
Starting again.
Kind of a drinking problem. I feel like it's really taken a toll on our relationship. all the problems that we have stem from the alcohol.
Okay. When did you first discern that Mr. Adair might have a drinking problem?
In the very beginning, I couldn't tell because everybody kind of likes to drink. Like, he likes to drink. I'm like, okay, it's not a problem. But about 6 months into our relationship, I had planned like a birthday dinner for him. I made the reservation. I was all cute. I made some little handmade gifts. It was just so thoughtful. And he didn't show up. It was like 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. He did not show up. And didn't hear from him until the next day. Found out that he got too drunk with his friends, passed out, and just didn't come out.
Mr. Adair, did you get too drunk to show up at your own birthday party?
Yeah, I intended to come.
Right.
That was the plan. I did do a little bit much that night, and had a few drinks and got a little carried away that night. I have to admit that. Yeah.
Is that unusual?
Meaning, is it unusual? As in, is that irregular or irregular?
Well, yeah. Is it unusual for you to get so drunk that you don't show up?
It's a rarity for me to get that far, get that drunk.
Okay. Ms. Bone, why don't you give me other examples of instances that demonstrates that he does in fact have a problem with alcohol?
A month after that, I had been texting him, and he told me he was going out with his friends. I'm like, okay, be safe, whatever. Didn't hear from him for the majority of the night. I got really worried. Like, I thought that something really bad happened. Found out that he got like a DUI. He lost his car. And then about 2 months after that, he moved in with me. And I kind of started noticing like he wasn't getting up on time. He was like not showing up to work some days because he was too hungover. And so I realized like, okay, maybe this is a little more severe than I thought. One night I came home from work about 5 o'clock, and he was working overnights. He was supposed to work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And he was passed out, like still in his clothes from the night before at work. And I had to like shake him. I was like, get up, like you gotta go to work. Come on, get up. And as soon as he woke up, he was still like drunk. He was calling me out of my name. He was just sloppy. And it might come as a surprise, but he didn't get to work on time. He got fired, didn't have a job for a month. You know, I had to kind of support everything. So
Were you living together at that time?
Yes.
Mr. Adair, did all that?
So then you see when things start to spiral out of control like that. I've never lost a job due to alcohol. I've never lost a job. I've never ended up homeless. I've never went through anything like that. You know, thanks to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ, they have never let me get to that extreme. Because like they say, Capricorn, they planet is Saturn. There's limitations on us. There's but so far I can go before I have to say, stop, no more. Because this is doing me more harm than good. So thank Jehovah I have that type of common sense. Thank God.
Happen?
That is partially correct.
Okay, you give it to me correctly.
There's a thing that she's leaving out. She's an enabler as well.
All right.
I do have the drinking problem, which I'll admit, and I didn't realize it until the situation with as far as losing jobs and things like that. But if you are getting off work at 3 a.m. as a bartender, and you have to go out after you get off work and have a couple drinks, get home at 8 in the morning, and expect to hold me to the same standard.
But we're talking about stories where I'm at work, so I'm not there. I come home.
Well, how is that
and
enabling you, though? She's just going out and drinking. She's not bringing it home. So how does that enable you?
Well, that's another aspect of it. There are times when she'll have some friends, just for instance, maybe a month or so ago, had some friends come from out of town. The alcoholic is at home, minding his business, not being an alcoholic. And she brings some alcohol home with some friends. I mean, if that's not enabling.
What do I tell you, though? I tell you, hey, don't feel obligated to kick it with us. Like, you can go to sleep. We'll be quiet.
Well, now, wait a minute. That's like saying, you got a drug addict in here. Hey, I got some drugs here, but don't feel obligated. Oh, my God. It doesn't make a lot of
I mean, that is just common sense. How the hell do you expect this guy to quit drinking and you're going to sit up here and have not only bringing the booze in, but you bringing the party in? I mean, come on already. Again, common sense. Like they say, common sense is not so common.
sense. Does it?
No, but
Do you believe he's an alcoholic?
I do, yeah.
What does that mean?
It means that he has an addiction to alcohol.
And he can't control it.
He's
He's
low
not in
functioning.
charge of
He
his
doesn't-
body.
Yeah.
The booze is. So why would you bring something that dictates to him what he should do into his environment?
That's valid. I mean, I shouldn't do that, but it was only like 1 or 2 times that happened. The majority of the issue is like when he's on his own time, like when he has full control over his choices. Exactly. Like if he's coming home from work, sometimes he'll pick up like some beers and come home and drink until he passes out. That's not me. That's his own choices that he's making.
Mr. Adair, you do understand that that's between you and your addiction and not a function of what she's doing.
I do understand, and a lot of the reasons why I do drink is because of the stresses. You know, I have a daughter and things like that, and the fact that
How does that drive you to drink?
Well, you know, just a lot of responsibility. It was a situation that was kind of unexpected. I slept with someone early on before Sarah and I started seeing each other, and that whole process, the stress of finding out that there was a child in the picture and all that good stuff, just makes you, sometimes you need just a little a reliever. You know, after you get off work, you may want to, you know, unplug, and sometimes I charge up a little bit when I unplug, if you know what.
I can certainly understand where he's coming from in that aspect, because I think about, why did I drink? Well, number one is because God said I can. That's the one thing that I can do. You can't overeat, because that's called gluttony. You're not supposed to do that. You can't have sex outside of marriage. You're not supposed to do that. I don't do drugs. Ain't no way in the hell, because that's a loser's game. But alcohol, to me, it's like the Bible says. God has created us. He knew what would work. Alcohol helps to lift my spirits. I could be feeling down or what have you, and I'll have a nice cocktail, and I feel amazing. I feel like a whole new woman. It's when you overdo it that's the problem. And I really had to learn how to drink, because I was raised in a very sheltered life, what have you, and I was like a late bloomer. But you're supposed to have 1 drink per hour. You're not supposed to be chug-a-lugging it the way I was chug-a-lugging it. You know what I'm saying? But as you get older, you get wiser, and that's pretty much it. But I understand what he's saying, that it helps you to de-stress. I think that's why some people smoke weed. I am not into no drugs, though. That's bud, weed, smoke, dope, whatever. Because I know that's just common. Here we go with common sense again. You're ingesting smoke. You're not a chimney. Ingesting smoke, as that smoke is going in, is doing all kind of damage to your body and your lungs. You end up with bronchitis. They say smoking 1 joint is like smoking 20 cigarettes. Who the hell needs it? I don't want to hear about all the benefits, this and all of that. It does more damage than it does benefits. So forget that nonsense with all that drug nonsense. But God said, if you really need to de-stress and you really need to have your spirits lifted, Jesus Christ, first miracle was turning water into wine. Jesus Christ himself used to drink. That's why I had a problem with the alcohol, of letting it go. Because of Jesus Christ himself, I mean, there was a time when the Pharisees was looking at Jesus Christ and the scribes, and they called Jesus a drunkard. Google it. When they called Jesus a drunkard, it'll take you right to the scripture. They saw him as a drunkard. So that's why I lean more towards alcohol. I could never stay with drugs. I couldn't, because my conscience wouldn't allow me. Because I know you ain't never seen Jesus lighting up no blunt, no crack, or no crystal meth, or shooting up no heroin. That ain't happening. But he would take a drink.
I mean,
now, I get you. Life is full of stress. I mean, everybody in here's got a story to tell. And I'm not saying that you don't have stress, and I'm not saying that you're not an alcoholic, and I'm not saying it's all your fault, but I'm saying that stress is a part of life.
And sometimes I think that, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
But sometimes I think that he causes his own stress. You know,
how's that?
There have been times where like one time I came home and the front door was not only unlocked, it was open. I come home and I'm like, what's going on? Like, Jamar's been home all night. Why is the front door open? Like, what's happening? I walk into our bedroom and he's passed out on the bed and he was like gray. Like, I thought he was dead. And it was scary. And I'm like shaking him. I'm like, no, this cannot happen. You know, I was freaking out. And once I wake him up, he was angry that I woke him up out of his sleep. And I'm like, but you left the front door open and you're passed out and I thought you were dead. Like, how can you be mad at me right now? And so, like, these things compile on top of each other, and then he drinks because he's stressed about the fact that he drinks. And, like, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah, no, it's a vicious cycle, and
yeah.
you can't get out of it. Mr. Adair, would you care to correct any of that, or
I mean, what should
address it?
That is a true story. I mean, that did happen. But the thing is, like, I'm in a position where I'm going through some procedures, taking some treatment, taking some classes, and I have been more responsible lately. Granted, there are times where we all backslide a little bit, and I've had those instances. But there is a point to where she is also responsible for some of these things. And once we can come to level ground to not have alcohol be as big of a factor in our life, I think it'll be easier for both of us not to have the pressure of dealing with the substances and things like that.
Okay, well, we've talked about the alcohol for a while now. Now I want to turn the page and talk about why you believe Mr. Adair is cheating.
Oh
I
God,
knew
not
he was
again.
texting this girl that he was friends with, but I woke up and he was gone. And I check on my phone and I just see the little car
Going away, yeah.
It's driving up into the boondocks, and I'm like, you're spending my money to take a ride to go see this girl at 1 a.m.
Okay, we always knew that cheating part was going to come in. That's why it is so. You got to be careful having sympathy for these narcissists. You have to.
So, Ms. Ball, why do you believe Mr. Adair is cheating on you?
Because he has cheated in the past. We were early on in the relationship still. It was like 6 months into it. Probably
6 months
around
in.
the time where he...
I mean, whatever happened. I mean, 6 months. That's relatively a new relationship, and you're already cheating within 6 months. And guess why he's cheating? Because she's still there. Where's she going? She ain't going no damn where. Please. And guess what? He's going to keep right on cheating. He's going to listen to what the judge say and blah, blah, blah. It's going to go on one ear and out the other. He's going to be good behavior for about 2 weeks. I already know the process, don't you? He'll be on good behavior for 2 weeks, and then it's right back to the same old routine, the same old nonsense, the same old bullery. But like I said, I'm not blaming these men not today for cheating. Keep on cheating. Every time a man cheats on a woman or busts upside her head, I want to give him $50. That's right. Because these women, they stay in these positions knowing that they're sending the wrong message to their daughters, to the younger generation, to women all over, whatever. So from now on, every time you bust up or you cheat on a dude, call me. I got $50 for you. That's right. Because she's sitting up here, a selfish female, and I know there's a lot of females who will get upset with me. Oh, well, whatever. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to hear about all this trauma bonding and all of this. They got way too many resources and way too much help out there this day and age. This is 2019, a whole new millennium, so there's no excuse for all of this nonsense. Sorry. So every time you bust it out, kid, call me. You got $50 waiting on you.
Was having a bunch of drinking problems. He was just doing a lot. And so one night I had like this weird dream and he was in it and it woke me up and I was like, I just have a bad feeling. I don't know what's going on. Lo and behold, he texted me. He's like, hey, I have something to tell you. And I'm like, what could that be? Like, I already knew. And he's like, I went over to this girl's house. We didn't have sex, but like we did sexual things. And I'm like, wow, like I understand that drinking can inebriate your judgment or whatever, but like the fact that he's done that before kind of...
Don't they kill you with that? We didn't have sex, we just did sexual things, meaning oral. Oral is sex, sweetheart, okay? Did you bust all kind of nuts? Okay, yeah, there you go. Did you have an orgasm? Yeah, that's sex, stupid. You see? So you got to be careful with alcohol too, because it seems like his brain is drowned in it. Let me tell you, if you want to see what an alcoholic is, go on YouTube and type in intervention and look at that show, please. It has people who are strung out on drugs and people who are really alcoholics. So you could see what an alcoholic is. If I was ever anything like that, I could understand if my kids left me, I lost my job, I was homeless, I would understand all of that. But those are what you see, those are alcoholics. Anyway, like I said, he's cheating on her, treating her like garbage because she ain't going nowhere.
It makes me question stuff. And I'm pretty chill about things. Like, I'm okay with you having friends that are girls. Like, I encourage that. Absolutely. Have friends. Friends all the time.
6 months in.
Yeah. And, like, there was another time that I woke up in the middle of the night. I knew he was texting this girl that he was friends with, and I was cool with it. Like, I didn't have any reason to be, like, weird about it. But I woke up, and he was gone. And I check on my phone, and I just see the little car
going away, yeah.
It's driving up into...
She's sitting up here talking about, I'm kind of chill with it. I don't mind him having women friends. I don't have a problem with that. I'm cool. No, you're stupid. Actually, you're stupid. No, a man who's in a relationship have no business being up in no woman's face. His female friends now become both of your female friends. He's not supposed to be talking to her on the phone unless he's on speakerphone and you're present. He's not supposed to be going over to her house and having dinner. Oh, that's out, babe. That's out. Because you know for a fact that if it's a man and he's loving his woman and she's talking about she's going to go hang out at her friend's house and he's a guy and he's hot looking too. He's sexy, charismatic, hot looking. You think that your husband or your boyfriend is going to sit up there and let you go hang out with the boys? And they looking like that? Oh, no. That's not happening. So my friends, my male friends, like when I had my male friends, I kept telling my ex-husband, I want you to meet them. He didn't want to meet them. He didn't want to meet them because he felt inadequate around mentally healthy, educated men who had their shit together. So he likes to be around people who are bums, or he felt that around the men friends that I have, that he wouldn't be able to shine. So you have to bring men who look beat up and sickly, like my ex, fiance. He's got really, really sick, Gregory. He didn't mind being around Gregory because Gregory had got sickly and he was down. He was down. But if he would have met Greg in the town when I met him, couldn't light a candle to Greg. Greg runs circles around that kid. Greg is very charismatic. Greg is good looking. People looked at him and thought Denzel Washington. But as he got sicker and sicker due to his health declining, that's why my ex-husband didn't mind him. But he didn't want to meet Dell. He don't want to meet Rick. He don't want to meet Steve. He don't want to meet my boy Alan. He don't want to meet Ken. Nah, he don't want to meet them because they got their shit together. They're highly educated. They're good looking. So of course he's not comfortable around that.
To the Boondocks, and I'm like, you're spending my money to take a ride to go see this girl at 1 a.m, and then he comes back at like 6 a.m. saying they didn't do anything. I'm like,
can you tell me about this young lady?
So the situation that she's referring to when I made a mistake, had an intimate encounter with
God.
A young lady.
Yeah, a young lady that I know. That was something that before Sari and I had some relationships with people that weren't as healthy. So I was in a position to where I was kind of like still not fully invested, but still trying to like show some consistency, and I was being inconsistent. So and my mind wasn't fully committed. So like, that
he couldn't decide.
That happened because I was the state of mind I was in. I wasn't really fully invested. That was a mistake. Now the situation with the girl, it was her money that I did spend to get the ride. And I did go over to the young lady's house. Friends, nothing happened. But I'm not cheating. I can guarantee you that I'm not cheating.
Knowingly.
I'm not
When you
cheating.
get inebriated, you're not quite sure what exactly goes down.
He doesn't know.
I've only had like maybe 2 instances where I've.
Like she says, once you get inebriated, you don't know what's going down. So whatever. That's why I don't drink around men. I stopped drinking around men years ago. Because I know what can transpire. So when I'm drinking, I'm either in my house alone, or I'm drinking outside socially, or I have my girlfriends here because I know I'm not gay. Ain't nothing going down that route. Yeah. No. I had stopped drinking around men a long time ago.
Been inebriated beyond like being able to remember. But these particular situations, like I'm together enough to be able to know
what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna move on to the next subject. You say that not only is he drinking, not only do I think he's ride sharing about to see other women, that the sex life at home has slowed to nothing.
I got some lingerie. It was like lacy, and the cheeks was out. And he walks in the door, and he's just like, "Oh, you look good, babe." And then like he went and grabbed a beer out of the fridge and plops down on the couch. I'm like, "Well, have sex with your beer then. See how that goes over for you."
Would you end a relationship if your partner got drunk multiple times a week? Tell us what you think at Divorce Court.
Yes, I would. I would definitely enter in my relationship if the man is alcoholic, especially if he's the abusive type, or if he's the type that's losing jobs, or if he's the type that's suffering from blackouts. Yeah, there's a problem. There's a huge problem, especially if you can't hold on to a job. And you're abusive. I'm sitting up here the next day, you see me, I got big black eyes, and you look. This is not funny, but anyway, I look like a raccoon, and you and you don't remember how I got like this? Really? Yeah, babe. Yeah. It's a wrap. Yeah, it's over, babe. Yeah, it's totally over.
So tell me about your intimacy level. You say it's non-existent.
Yeah, we're just not on the same page at all. I feel like there's no passion there, and I think part of it is like I'm physically attracted to him, but it's hard to be attracted to somebody when they can't even get up for work on time. Like I'm like, how can I get that passionate emotional feel when like it's just sloppy?
He's an ongoing sloppy problem.
Yeah. But I've tried to bring the sexy back a little bit. You know, one time I made like a special trip after work. I got some lingerie. It was like lacy and, you know, the cheeks was out and, you know, like I was ready. So he walks in the door and he's just like, oh, you look good, babe. And I'm like, I look good? That's it? Like, I look good? That's it. And then, like, he went and grabbed a beer out of the fridge and plops down on the couch. I'm like, well, have sex with your beer then. See how that goes over for you.
Mr. Dare, do you recall that circumstance?
I do recall that circumstance, but here's the thing, like, we all have needs, of course. We have a higher appetite sometimes for sex, a higher drive.
That's not true.
She's not complaining about that.
I know,
that's
but
not true.
The thing is, with the mistakes that I've made, and sometimes she look at me as like, when I do make passes or I do try to be intimate, she kind of, you know, throws the cold shoulder, treats me like a bum sometimes. So when you decided it's on your time, right? You're ready for me, so now I'm just supposed to give you what you, and it don't work like that, Judge. I'm sorry. So at that particular instance,
because she's refused you in the past, and now on this particular day, she decides she's ready.
When it's.
Do you understand why she's refused you in the past?
I do understand.
It's hard to be romantically involved with a guy who's just sloppy drunk. She got to treat you like you're 5. You got to close the door.
I hear you, honey. I hear you. Ah, man. I remember I was dating this guy. His name was Gary. And we was hanging out or whatever. Anyway, he got drunk. He was so drunk. Okay? And I wasn't drinking at that time because I had taken I was on some sinus medicine or something that the doctor had gave me and I couldn't mix alcohol. So I told you I don't really drink around men anyway. But anyway, his name was Gary. And he had got so drunk. And then I went out of the room, and when I came back into the room, he was on his knees on the bed, doggy style, okay, you know, like doggy style. He had pulled his pants down. His pants was down, underwear and all I saw was his big old butt and the crack of his ASS and his testicles swinging between. I was like so disgusted. And he was slapping his butt saying, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Come here, girl. Yeah. And I was like, oh, my God. I think I'm a hurl. Where's the bucket? I got to throw up. I'm disgusted. And then the next day when he came to, oh, man. I was like, I just didn't look at him the same. That's why you have to be very careful with alcohol. You really have to be careful. Because it can really cause a person not to see you in the same light. You know? Hey.
All for you. She got to wake you up. She finds you in the closet with your blanket. It's hard. You understand what I'm saying? It's not romantic. It's not an aphrodisiac. It doesn't make you say, not at all.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But I've tried. I've tried. You know what I mean?
So has she refused sex for an extended period of time?
It's always, I'm not in the mood or I'm sleeping. She gives these excuses, and I'm like, okay, you know, and I take it as being, you know, that is what it is.
You still have concerns that he still has feelings for his ex, though, don't you?
Yes.
Why is that?
This was earlier on, too. We had like a little getaway weekend together. It was a great time. We were in the car, and there was just like an R&B station on or something, and I'm just looking out the window. I'm like, that was such a good time. Like, wow, that was so fun. I look over and he's sobbing. And I'm like, are you crying because you love me so much? Like, that has to be it.
Hardly.
No, I asked him what was wrong. And he's like, I miss my best friend, bro. And I'm like, who's your best friend? Did something happen? Did somebody pass away? He's like, I miss my ex, bro. And I'm like,
he called you bro?
Well, like, just the way he was saying it. I don't know if he called me bro or what.
But it was a bro vibe.
It wasn't as dramatic.
Because he wanted me to be like, oh, it's gonna be okay. She'll come back.
Did you whine to your new woman about listen, your old woman?
It wasn't that dramatic. It wasn't that dramatic. You know, we listened to a song, and the song, you know, kind of took me to a place, and a couple tears went down, and she happened to look over when the tear
came on down.
Came down. So
just bad timing.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, I could definitely understand that because I used to be in the car with my ex-husband and a certain song come on. That's why I don't like slow music. You know, I always try to keep it pumped, pump. But certain songs would come on if I heard something and it reminded me of Greg. Greg was the love of my life. I still love that man. You know, the love of my life because he was amazing. He cheated. I can't do cheating. But he was honest. He was very honest. But still, you cheated. You can't come back from that with Sheila True Love. But there were songs that would come on and I would become nostalgic, thinking about Greg and wishing that things would have worked out between him and me. I really wish things would have worked out between him and me. So, what can I tell you?
That time, I had, it would have been just a done moment, but I wanted to be honest with her, and at that point, I was feeling like I needed to be more invested in the relationship with her.
Okay.
And
I got you.
And it was just,
I get it. I understand completely. And I got something to say.
Woo! Oh.
What would you do if your partner cried while reminiscing about their ex? Share your opinion on Twitter and Instagram.
What would I do if my partner was crying about his ex? Wow. Even though I've done it, because I went through a lot with Greg, and Greg was sickly also because, he's on his last leg. So of course I'm thinking about that with him dying and the world being with the world without a Greg in it. That's not good. How would I feel if my ex was crying about his girl? That would show me that he still has feelings for her, and I would back up. That's what I would. That's me. I would just back up because that's just how Sheila True Love is. Because I'm not gonna sit up here and endanger myself or put my heart out there like that. So I'm gonna first start to say, wow, I see he still have these intense feelings for her. Okay, then I would just start to shut down, and I would do that as a protection for myself because I see something's getting ready to hurt me. So I would shut that down.
Instagram at Divorce Court. Divorce Court will be right back.
Okay, so we're going to stop here. We're already 32 minutes into the session here. And like I said, choose wisely. You always have a choice. The ball is always in your court. Remember what your Heavenly Father and your Lord and Savior says. Be wise, my child, and make my heart rejoice. I love you, my tubies. Until next time, bye for now.